For today's Tools in 10, I will be talking about how to teach the ED suffix, all three sounds, and we'll go over a sample lesson plan for teaching the first lesson on page 200, ED Ed. A suffix is a single letter, group of letters, or a syllable that is added to the end of a base word or a root word to change its meaning. The teacher box at the top of page 200 gives you all of the information that you need to introduce the ED suffix concept. The key point is that ED added to the end of a base word tells us something that has happened in the past. So it is important to teach how adding ED to a base word changes the meaning of the word to the past tense. Flip cards are a great way to introduce the concept. You can read the base word and talk about how that word stands for what is happening now or what is about to happen, and then add the ED suffix and talk about the new meaning of the word, something that already happened. For example, my snowman will melt in the sun. Yesterday, the sun melted my snowman. In order to read words with the ED suffix correctly, we want students to find the ED suffix and read the base word. So we'll use the same strategy for all three sounds of ED, which is this. 1, highlight the ED suffix and say the sound. 2, underline and read the base word. 3, read the whole word. Here are some examples. For ED ed, here the suffix adds a syllable to the word because the E is a talking vowel. The student will highlight the suffix and say ed, then underline and read the base word hunt, then read the whole word hunted. For ED that says d, it does not add a syllable because the E does not talk. Highlight ED and say d, underline and read the base word will, then read the whole word, willed. For ED that says t, again, it does not add a syllable because the E does not talk. Highlight the ED and say t, underline and read the base word camp, then read the whole word camped. For words with the 1-1-1 doubling rule, like mopped, if you have taught the rule, which is on page 254, you can review the rule when a word has a one syllable, one short vowel, and one ending consonant. The ending consonant is doubled before adding the ED. Therefore, the base word mop ends in a single P. For words that have vowel consonant E patterns, if you have taught the vowel consonant E plus suffix rule, you can review the rule that you drop the silent E before adding ED. For the words in this column, the ED suffixes have different sounds. The student underlines the ED, finds the base word and reads it, side, then reads the whole word, sided. Now I'll demonstrate this strategy using the 3 lesson pages. So for our ED Ed page, we would highlight the ED, say Ed, underline the base word, say that word, rent, and then read the whole word, rented. Ed, load, loaded. For vowel consonant E words, we're going to highlight the ed, and then we're going to underline the base word. The base word has that E because the E is jumping over and telling the vowel to say A, shaded, shaded. For words that have multiple syllables, the student can highlight the ED and say ed, underline the base word, and if they need to, they can mark the vowels, mark the consonants, and then divide, decide, decided. For ED saying d, we're going to follow the same strategy. Highlight the ED, say d, underline the base word and read it still, Then read the word stilled. D. Underline the base word handle. Here we have our DLE, dull. They can box that. Handled. For words that have multisyllables, D. Underline the base word. They can mark that base word, mark the consonants, or mark the vowels, mark the consonants in between, and then divide, and then read it. Summon, summoned, summoned. Down here, you have your 1-1-1 doubling rule, same as on this page here, which shows you can mark the ed, and then just the one consonant is underlined as part of the base word because that second consonant has been doubled because of that 1-1-1 doubling rule. So we have two examples showing that you're only underlining the base word with one consonant ending. Rotted. And same for ed that says t. Highlight, say the sound t. Mask, masked. Here we have our 1-1-1 doubling rule. T. The base word is hop, hopped. Here we have some multisyllable words. They can highlight, t, underline the base word, and if they had trouble reading that, we can mark our vowels, mark our consonants, divide, at, tack, attack, attack, attacked, and so on. Remember that you can teach ed much earlier in the sequence, which is beneficial since the ed suffix is a high-frequency suffix and will help your students to be able to read a lot more words. If you do teach the skill earlier, only work with the words on a lesson page or game pages that have skills your students have explicitly been taught. Also, the charts that you choose to tap and the level that you tap them will be based on where you are in the sequence of instruction and the progress your students have made with tapping each chart. It is also important to note if you are planning on teaching ed earlier in the sequence, make sure you have your students tapping it on the chart well before you teach it. Remember that you can customize the chart to introduce and practice the skills that you want. So this plan is based on teaching the ed suffix after the ly suffix and y baby e suffix lesson, which is on page 108. We will tap the teams chart and the uncovered sections of the syllables chart. I will then dictate sounds for students to write on a whiteboard and follow that with a short review activity using flip cards that reviews the previous skill of adding ly and y as suffixes to base words. The next part is introducing the new skill. I've decided to use flip cards to introduce and show how the ed suffix changes a base word from the present or future tense to the past tense. We will first tap the ed square on our chart 3 times and then write the ed suffix 9 times. After that, we will use the flip cards to practice reading words as a base word and then with the ed suffix. As we do this, we will talk about the new meaning of the word and use the words in oral sentences. We will follow that with orally arm spelling the 6 words listed on the plan. After oral arm spelling, we will do 2 word study activities. The first activity will be marking the skill on our Go Fish cards. I have included a note on the side indicating that there are 4 words on the game cards that have the 1-1-1 doubling rule. This is a spelling rule, and since I haven't taught it yet, I will just briefly explain that these words have an extra T before the ED, and that we will be learning about this rule in an upcoming lesson. The double T makes just one sound. After marking and reading all of the words on the game page, I will then dictate 6 words for my students to arm spell and write on paper. The next component in our lesson is phrase or sentence work. This can be done before or after playing the game if you have time, or you can focus on sentence work and more word study activities for day 2 of the lesson. Here I have chosen individual cut-up sentences for the activity. Directions for this activity are found on page 262 of the Training Companion Guide. I have chosen 2 sentences which have been cut apart into individual words. Again, I have chosen words with skills that my students have been explicitly taught. The student must put the words in order to make a meaningful sentence. Before the student puts them in order, I will have her first find the word with the ed suffix, highlight the ed, underline the base word and read it, then read all of the other words before putting the words in order. After that, we will play Go Fish with the cards that we have already marked and read. So that concludes this Tools in 10 on teaching the ed suffix and planning a lesson that includes all of the brain-friendly reading key components. I hope that it helps you to decide when you will teach the skill and what activities you will include in your lesson that will benefit your students the most.